Yo guys, Zakki here. I'll introduce you to the latest hero updates in honor of kings. Let's check out the buffs and changes. Let's start with Liu Shan. He just got some big upgrades that will make him smoother and stronger in fights. They've added a new mechanic to his passive. Now every fourth basic attack deals extra physical damage and grants 20% lifesteal. This helps Liu Shan sustain better in extended fights. His attack speed also got adjusted. Before, it was a fixed 50%, but now it scales from 25% to 50%, making it more balanced and adaptable. His skill 1 has also been adjusted. It now feels smoother to use, but the crowd control duration got nerfed from 0.8 seconds to 0.5 seconds, so enemies recover faster. That's not all. Liu Shan's skill 2 got a big change. The sweep no longer resets his passive, so the fourth basic attack's effects now apply with this skill. Here's a side-by-side comparison. Damage was reduced, but it now scales with 50% extra physical attack. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. Next up, Gao got some buffs. His basic attack range increased from 580 to 650, letting him hit enemies from farther away. Here's another side-by-side comparison. Gao's skill 1 got a nice buff. Now, subsequent note hits no longer deal reduced damage to minions and monsters. This means Gao can farm faster and push lanes more effectively. Last but not least, Gao's ultimate. Its base damage now scales higher from 75 per level to 100 per level. However, the movement speed boost is now fixed at 50% instead of scaling up. For survivability, the damage reduction is better. It now gives 10% for the first enemy and 5% for each additional enemy instead of just 5% per hero. Next up is Cirrus. His playstyle relies on damage over time, so to help with that, the devs shortened the cooldowns of his skill 1 and skill 2. Both skills now have a base cooldown of 9 seconds instead of 10 seconds, letting Cirrus attack more frequently and apply more pressure. Liu Shan got some huge buffs. Since he's a frontliner, the devs improved his cooldowns, shields, and crowd control. Skill 1 now has a lower cooldown and a stronger shield, going from 600 to 650 base and scaling better per level. His skill 2 also has a slightly shorter cooldown, helping him engage more often. Biggest change, his ultimate now slows enemies by 15% per second while spinning. Before, Liu Shan could use his basic attack while spinning to move toward his enemies. But now, he can't use basic attacks while spinning anymore. And for damage, his ultimate's base damage jumped from 240 to 380. With better scaling, definitely a win for Liu Shan mains. What do you guys think? Next up, 𝐃 got some buffs to his tiger form. Since he needs to get really close to deal damage, the devs boosted his tiger form stats to make him stronger in close fights. 𝐃's passive now gives more physical attack 35 to 70, up from 20 to 62. His physical and magical defense increased from 60 to 116 to 70 to 140, making him harder to take down in tiger form. 𝐃's skill 2 now has a shorter cooldown, dropping from 8 to 7 seconds, and the energy cost is fixed at 50 instead of scaling up. Ming's passive got an upgrade. Ming's passive now heals more, helping him survive longer on the front line. Before, his passive healed 210 to 420 HP plus 40% of his magical attack. Now it heals 225 to 450 HP plus 40% of his magical attack. Dian Wei has been adjusted. His slow effects are nerfed, making it harder to chase enemies early on. His skill 2 slow effect was reduced from 50% to 25%, but it now scales with level, gaining plus 5% per skill level. Also, his ultimate slow effect was reduced from 50% to 30%, but now scales with plus 15% per skill level. 𝐾𝐨𝐰𝐧𝐥𝐸 received an unexpected nerf. Our little boy just got released recently, and the devs have already toned him down to balance his impact. They lower his healing, scaling reduced from 12% to 10% magical attack, and his extra health from 2% to 1.5%. Also, they lower his passive damage. Magical attack scaling dropped from 24% to 20%, while extra health scaling went from 4% to 3%. This means he won't heal as much, making him easier to take down in fights. What do you think of this change? Share it in the comment section. That's all for today. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.